Hey everybody, welcome to Forge the Narrative. We are a minute early. I'm giving 1 minute of bonus content because that's how excited I am about 30K.
The ever-giving Paul Murphy.
Look, if you have not already subscribed to this channel, please do so. You can follow me on Twitter at warmaster_TPM. And Troop's got his and his little nameplate there too.
Oh, yeah.
You got to say something so they can see it.
Oh, sorry. I'm learning, guys. It's technology.
At Troop Smash.
At Troop Smash. Yeah, it's technology.
Anyway, thank y'all for joining us in the chat. I'm really happy to see all the enthusiasm we've got about Horus Heresy stuff.
Oh yeah, Facebook's on fire, man.
Yeah, I mean it's fun. It's Marino Marines. I played a game this past weekend. I put up a couple of pictures on the Forge Narrative Facebook, and it felt very much like like 4th edition or late 3rd edition. There, I had enough pieces on the table to be dynamic, and was able to move in and out. Good times.
Yeah, it's honestly, man. I've been looking into it. I've been talking to a lot of the fans, and I appreciate everybody that's been reaching out on the Facebook. Everybody's trying to sell me right now, and we're getting close. I feel like I'm legitimately almost there.
Justin, I think you've let other folks jump in the video too.
I don't know how I did that. Hi guys.
Yeah.
I have no idea how that happened.
All exciting. Whatever. Yeah. But Horus is a beast. He almost got killed by bolters, but that's right in line. That's in the books where Angron almost got killed by bolters by the Space Wolves.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Fluff.
I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. Horus then delivered his vengeance by twin linking orbital strike on the people that shot him.
Touche.
Yeah. So that was really fun when I picked up 19 of the 21 berserkers, whatever they are in 30K. World Eaters.
Oh, okay.
Hey guys.
So everybody that's joining the email that went out 5 minutes ago, don't join that email, I guess. My bust. We're all learning here, right?
Well, some of us are.
Yeah, one of us.
Well, I mean, that's cool. Guys, thanks y'all for joining us. Chris, Dylan, Kelly, Bill, Steve, Lou, Boyd Ray Prime, Lamont, Steve Booley.
I saw Dean in the admin side.
I am on the hunt for Corvus hammers because I am building right now. I'm building some a Ravenwing command squad, and this bolter's got to be cut off so I can put a Corvus hammer on there. This bolt pistol anyway has got to be cut off. And obviously these plasma pistols work amazing. So this is a Dark Vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it up close. This is a Dark Vengeance bike. Plasma pistol's been cut off to go for the bolters. This bolt pistol is going to get cut off, and there will be a Corvus hammer there, and this guy's good to go for a Ravenwing command squad.
That's interesting that you thought to use the pistols. I've been saving up plasma guns, thinking that's the route that I was going to need to go, but the scale of the pistol looks like it's better. So
it fits right there on there. I mean, I don't have. I mean, the plasma gun is probably just a hair too big. But it probably depends on where you cut it.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
But the Dark Vengeance bolters on these bikes, with a pair of side clippers, it just shears flat, and if you get a good cut on the plasma guns, I mean like here's another one. If you get a good cut on the plasma guns, I mean once I paint this up, it'll be basically seamless.
Nice, yeah.
You want to see it? Again, I did another swap with an apothecary. I mean, this is the sergeant dude or whatever, and you see I haven't put his plasma talons on there yet. But once you hack that arm off, and a shoulder pad hides my gouges very, very well. But that's
my favorite thing about hobbying Space Marines is that you can cover up anything you want to do to their arm with that giant shoulder pad.
Yeah, it helps. Especially if you've got an awkward pose or something. Whatever.
Yeah.
Throw it on there. But that's what I've been doing. I've been building those, and I've been putting together some demon crap. So like here's another pile of horrors and everything too.
Yes. That's how when you summon them, that's how you have to do it too. You got a
Big pile of
Oh,
horrors.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my hobby I've been doing. I got a 30K game in. I got some assembly done. I did some kit bashing. I did some minor swaps.
Oh, nice, man. You've
Yeah.
had an active week. That's what it sounds like.
Here's one of my Terminators. Yeah. This arm is not missing; it's magnetized. So I can go between thunder hammers and power axes and auto cannons, whatever whatever.
It's legit.
Yeah.
I am weak in the ways of the magnetization. Admittedly,
it's a little bit intimidating. It really is slightly intimidating because I mean, once you start drilling into a model, and let me tell you how when you start drilling into like expensive models, like when I'm having to sink a 1/4 inch, half-inch magnet into the arm of Wraith Knight or whatever, it's.
Yeah, you got some pucker effect, huh?
Yeah, it's like, oh, I don't want to screw this up, and you can't really use a power tool a lot because you can slip easy. Anyway.
Yeah, I found, man, Dremels. I love them. I think they're very practical. I'm clumsy, so I don't do them.
You gotta have the right bit too, otherwise the Dremel will heat up the plastic, and you'll get like it'll melt it instead of actually drilling into it.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, that's minor stuff. This is all. Again, magnetizing, it's slightly intimidating. You will get glue all over your hands.
Oh, yes. That is the worst part.
All over your hands. But once you get over that, and anyway, just try it. It's not so bad.
There's
the
a lot of
magnets
good
always end
videos
up on
for
my
you.
hands, and when I go to flush sometimes my hand gets stuck on it because the magnets are stuck to my hand. It's just it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, toothpicks, man, or popsicle sticks too. If you use those, like those are, there's so many tricks to magnets that makes it so much easier. I don't have them accessible, but I buy popsicle sticks from Walmart or whatever your brand.
That makes a lot of
is.
sense.
Yeah, there's a bunch of tutorials out there on YouTube. Also, I mean, people like Brandon Palmer, GMM. He doesn't like to magnetize everything at all. He'd rather build a completely brand new model and paint it. Of his own stuff. Now he'll do whatever his clients wants, but he would just rather go through the process of building everything, and and that's fine too.
Dude,
I can't blame him for that.
When you're the messiah of like hobby amazingness, you can.
Yeah. Oh yeah, guy. He has this wood grain recipe that he showed me before, and he says he can do it like in his sleep. But to me, it might as well be the Da Vinci Code. I don't know.
That's freaking awesome, man.
So anyway, got Coach joining in. Got Archon of Chaos, man. Good to see you. Everybody, again, thanks for the chat. Hit up some of these questions. It's like Papa Nurgle visited Bill. I'm real sorry to hear that. He's there in that place where he had a little bit of environmental issues.
The Colorado Sludge Fest.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to shout out Coach's his contest for subscribers is going to end next week. So if you have not gone to his page, please check it out. It's Family Gamers 777. Check out that page.
Yeah.
Do what he asks you. I think it's just like say a comment in the. It's not even. You don't even have to like sign your life away.
You just comment in the video, and you don't bother because I already won. So there's that.
You get those Veritech fighters. Send them my way. I need.
No. Paul Murphy wants all of your freaking Caliban Knights, Deathwing Knight guys. He wants all of them.
The Corvus Hammers for days.
I'm on the hunt for Corvus Hammers. If anybody has some spares, let me know. I'll trade whatever you need.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Steve's saying he's going to get hyped when he gets some Thousand Suns.
Oh, I'm so excited for Thousand Suns. I can't even talk. I'm so excited because I love Psychers and I love the book Thousand Suns, and they're in my favorite color. Win-win.
Yeah, I like them also. I think right now, we didn't see enough of these, but when Grey Knights were really big, people doing some counts as Thousand Suns for Grey Knight armies. Yeah, that would have been. Yeah, that we saw a few, and those were very awesome. Yeah, that's a good way to get, in my opinion, if you want Thousand Suns, that's a good way to have them happen right now. But I'm kind of pumped about Horus Heresy Psychers. seeing more of those.
Yep.
Because there's some abilities in the book that give people, there's adamantium will, and like Horus, for instance, dispels things on a 3+ that they try to target him. Yeah, and that's not. I mean, there aren't a ton of psychers to take right now.
Yeah, the Word Bears have a couple, but they're kind of weak sauce.
Well, there's like hidden psychers hidden throughout the different legions. Like Typhus or Typhon, I guess, is a psyker level 1.
Yeah, don't tell Mortarion.
Sevatar.
That's actually it. Is that he can't use his psychic power if Mortarion's on the battlefield.
Yep. So they're hidden here and there, and then you can take a librarian and as one of your consuls, but that takes up an HQ slot. So you've got, unless you're putting Lorgar on the table, you're looking at maybe 3 psychic charge, depending on your legion. It's not that big right now. So considering that they're making rules for Sisters of Silence and Space Wolves, right, and then Thousand Suns, there's going to be a real big change in the game when that Prospero book finally does come out.
Troy, good to see you. I don't think I gave you a shout earlier. I had a buddy mention to me today that he thinks that the Primarchs might go through a little bit of an evolution once they get closer to Earth, and we might see new stats for these guys and maybe some new figures.
Really?
Now this is pure speculation, absolutely pure speculation.
Huh? I mean, I don't know. Like, what would be the justification to do that? I mean, to abandon the line right now.
After you do this for 10, let's just say you're doing this for 10 years, and it's been a while. It's been a while since the Horus Heresy stuff has been out. It's been a few years.
Like 2, 3 now, I believe.
Now, once we go a few more years, they're going to be looking to do something else, and we're not going to see 50K. We're not going to see an end times 40K.
Oh yeah,
40K is the end times, like we always say.
What we will see is like Talon of Horus stuff, something that takes place right after the Siege of Terra, the Heresy, and they'll be filling in that 10,000 years.
Yeah, that's a big gap,
I'll tell you why it makes sense for them to update the Primarchs, because several of them ascend to Demon Princes prior to the Siege of Terra. Fulgrim does, and I know Mortarion does, and this is all stuff that's straight out of the Visions of Heresy book. This isn't even in the
well, they've been in Epic. They had figures and stats and rules in Epic. So there's there's Fulgrim, Angron, Mortarion had rules in Epic Battle for becoming Demon Princes.
Is that it? That's the only 3, or did others?
Those were the ones that had figures and rules in Epic. I don't remember if more.
No, I meant like became Demon Princes altogether.
Well, going into spoiler territory, there's a bit of an ascension thing for Horus. I won't go into too much detail with that.
Paterbo also becomes a Demon Prince.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
When does that happen in the timeline? I forget.
I don't remember.
He needs it.
But anyway, there's 10,000. There's an infinite number of stories to tell, and if they're going to make this beeline to Earth in the Black Library novels, which it's past time, if you ask me, it's past the time to do so. They're going to be needing different stories to tell, and they will. They'll tell these next stories, and then we'll see an evolution as Forge World moves forward as well.
That's legit, man. I mean, there's so much stuff, and wasn't it like 4th edition or something when they did the Eye of Terror campaign?
That was 3rd edition.
3rd?
Actually.
Okay.
Yeah, that was 3rd.
Man, like
that was the first tournament I went to was for that.
First appearance of Black Templars.
I'd like to see stuff like that again. Like just this huge campaign, worldwide campaign where everybody can get involved and we can all have fun and sit there and talk about what we're shaping the fluff at that point in a way. I mean, that's how it worked then. I don't know.
Lou brought up Magnus too. I'm not. Is Magnus a full-on Demon Prince?
Yeah, he ascends in some fashion where he can't leave the warp. He ends up when I was reading the Araman books, the series that's come out by John French. It talks about him having ascended. He's got like Zinch wings, but he's otherwise looks just like himself.
That's okay. Now, I mean, I go by there's that like if the Emperor had a voice box or speech to text or whatever.
That thing, I can only sit through so much of that. I mean, it's funny, but then it just gets ridiculous.
I love it. I mean, it's one of those things I can put on at work and just like be clicking away on something else and have in the background. Archon is asking if we've had any building. No, nothing. I don't know. I did not about hull points in buildings. About if it doesn't have a true capacity. About if it has actually hull points. It seems like it's a rules pit. If you ask me. Coach is asking if we're playing 40K now. We're playing 30K. Would you guys play 50K? Bounce between all three. Man, yes, I would. Because it's appealing to different types of folks. And I will say there's some people in the area that have been jazzed for this Horus Heresy stuff, and it's a different game. It really is a different game than 40K, where 40K's got, let's just say, some shenanigans, which I also appreciate. I enjoy pulling off some shenanigans sometimes with my opponents. 30K doesn't have that. It's much more of a straightforward kind of tactical game, and I like that sometimes. Not that you can't do some silly stuff. But there's a lot more internal inherent balance to that game. And if there was a 31K, what is it, a 30.9 K or a or a 50K, I'd look for whatever that game was all about. I'd probably enjoy that too because it's moving around these models we love so much.
There are so many stories. There are so many stories in this universe that we can do before we have to worry about what happens in the future's future. Like there is so much that we can do. Like the Battle of the Fang. That would make an excellent like Imperial Armor style book. Yeah, wouldn't you say, Justin?
Honestly, like that's probably going to be one of the more iconic ones to appeal to me. Just some of the stuff that I've got to read about that was the picture that was painted just sounds like this epic battlefield, and that's what I want to see. That's what when I think 30K, that's how I want to embrace it, and that's how I want to accept it. So
there was a neat event that happened this last weekend over in Cardiff in England. It was put on by one of the few heresy podcasts, but I saw some pictures come out of that. It was the Imperial Truth broadcast, and I saw some really awesome pics of fully painted heresy armies, and we're talking like 2,500 points of Mechanicum, Loyalist, Heretics, all sorts of
Mechanicum
stuff.
are the ones that do the best if you're gonna if you just want figures that you can play and competitively in both 40K and 30K. Mechanicum is the best because it has a little bit of power, a little bit of bite, a little bit more than the general other armies from 30K.
Man, what I've been seeing is 2,500 points. I researched the crap out of 30K over the last week. 2,500 points.
And that's what we played. We'll talk about the list on the podcast. Carl, good to see you. Thanks, James. We got some more people checking in. Really, really good to see a bunch of folks tonight. Yeah, Steve said he loved the Ulanor campaign. Orcs versus the Big Emperor. He'd play that. Yeah, that would be fun. That is if you were to break up 40K, Warhammer 40K as we know it, into like chapters, and like maybe 5 chapters, Ulanor is like chapter 1.
It's the end of chapter 1. It's like the climax, the ultimate moment of chapter 1.
Yeah, I mean it's awesome. Some people building some
that on an audio book.
That would be right towards the end, right? Building some robots. I got my Dune crawlers in the mail today.
Nice.
So I'm pretty happy to put those together. I said not as much trim as I thought they were going to be, so I'm more jazzed about putting them together and painting them. I mean, y'all see my whole table right here this has become it used to be just my podcast station, now it's my assembly line before I move over there to do my painting. I know you can't see it, but it's like right over there.
But you guys know how my setup is. I mean, I literally use the keyboard tray of a tiny desk, and that's where I do all of my everything.
Hey, whatever. I mean, that's fine. Over there is where I do my painting, or my playing. That's where.
See, you could go for like an hour-long tour in the TPN man cave basement.
I'm very fortunate to have a hobby area. That's for sure. I will count my blessings as far as that goes.
Yeah, it's nice to have that space and to be able to separate it. And I remember when I had like a small beats lab, man, I got paint on everything. It sucked. And, you know, something that I spent hours on this one dude. And I'm like, oh man, this dude's so awesome. I set him down. I'm fiddling around, paint everywhere. And then he's ruined.
There you go. You know, I'm hoping we get these plastic Heresy figures. Now, we've seen them. They look a little basic. They don't look like a modern sprue, you know, like where there's, if it was just here, there would be something in every space. There's a lot of empty space.
Yeah.
On those sprues. But that is in line with me. Like, maybe we'll see an actual box set where, like, a game where we're all playing with Marines.
I'm going to need to start selling organs when that happens. You guys know any good buyers?
Well, I'm willing to bet.
Can you eBay that?
I think they'll price it competitively. Like, I bet we'll see like a $120 box set with 40 Marines in it.
And you can't beat that deal with a stick, you know. That's value.
Plus like a dreadnought, plus like a
some Praetors or whatever they're
Rhino.
called.
I don't know. What do you got? An HQ or two.
A good Praetor model would be nice.
Yeah.
I'm jazzed, man, because they got to do it right. I'm going off of my gut, and I got a little bit more than most. I think it's going to be around like an October-ish, November-ish release. Ramp it up for Christmas, and I think that's going to be a big push. And I think it's going to be. Yeah. I think it's going to be bigger than we think. I think there's going to be so much stuff about it that hasn't been leaked yet, and it's got to be epic.
Sounds good. I'm going to change gears just a little bit. I've been talking with the guy who made that Azure comp system for Age of Sigmar that we spoke a little bit about on the show. I'm going to post I'm waiting to see him to give me basically the thumbs up, but I'm going to post a link on our Facebook page for directly to those rules. So if anybody cares to play Age of Sigmar with a little bit more structure, and the structure is not to be like hard, crunchy, everything's down to the half point or whatever. It's meant to be kind of in the spirit of the game, but yet something that you can kind of wrap your mind around.
It'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
Yeah, I'm digging it, man. This is something near and dear to my heart. I want Age of Sigmar to be successful, and I want it to be popular, because what it is it's very fun. And Fantasy has some of the best models. You can't deny, especially those end times pieces that have been coming out.
Yeah, they were trying to push, that they were a big model company. That's what we're going to make a beautiful models. That's why you need to play our game as opposed to other games.
Yeah, you can't. Mantic, good job, bravo, dudes. You don't hold a candle to what GW has. These guys are professional models, like pure and simple. You can't get any better models on the market short of like Forge World. So, I mean, there's some companies out there that might sculpt a good model, but their line is not as consistent.
They got somebody struck that lightning in a bottle or whatever,
Yeah. One in 10. Like, congratulations, dude. I appreciate your model and your effort, but GW is like 9 out of 10 good models. I can't think of too many that aren't that great.
I got William Reynolds building some Razorbacks for his Lions Blade. That formation is good. I mean, you save points with that one, so you can build. You get like 100 more points to spend on powerful things.
Yeah, that's.
I'll tell you, the Space Marine version of that, the Gladius Strike Force, the GSF, won the RTT I was running this weekend. I mean, there's some real power in.
If you're playing in a win-loss missions or in a bunch of like static objective missions, I shouldn't say static, progressive missions, things that don't focus on kill points too much, then that's a very, very strong formation.
Yeah.
Lion's Blade, again, it gives you like 100 extra points to mess around with. They give you just a little bit more punch in the right places.
What I liked about the Lion's Blade too is it forces you to take bodies instead of like an attack bike, right? So now I have more 3+ on the field, and to me that's better all day.
Yeah, it's good. I like it a lot. Dean's saying he's getting some stuff going for a tournament that's happening. It's by a good friend of the show, Twitch. They've got a 1K, 2K, 3K tournament where each round you're able to build on.
Oh yeah.
Your army.
Man, did you read the rules and stuff to that?
I haven't read them all, but I am still considering going. I'm just gonna
yeah, dude. Like, it looks like fun, man, for real.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Troy's saying that Infinity has a bunch of really good looking models.
That they do. I will give them that.
I love the terrain. I love the scenery. I love all those crazy cool Neo Tokyo / Blade Runners looking signs and stuff.
Dude, that's what their models to me like. They're definitely like that Japanese influenced type thing. You know, like that a little bit more of the anime side. They do look fresh. I won't take anything away from them. GW's still better.
Well, Confrontation that French company did an amazing job with a bunch of models. Like I don't know what had to happen to where that didn't pick up. I guess because the rules were clunky. Like it almost became like it became an elite collector's niche of a niche market. Like you had to get the really good stuff, you had to like be in France and speak French for the rules, and then you had to get and then it was just like.
Weren't they?
Sounds kind of like France to me.
But whatever. It was the models are awesome, and people still collect them to this day. There's a huge aftermarket for those models.
Aren't they pre-painted?
No. Mm-mm.
No. Okay.
No.
I found something.
There are a lot of pretty decent sculpts that are out there right now, and even so, the aesthetic just doesn't touch my inner nerd heart like the GW sculpts do. But whatever they lack in model quality, they make up for in a bit more support to the community. I think that
their games are probably 90% better in most cases as far as like balance is concerned.
It just
they're not as big and accessible, so you don't see more people doing it. A lot of those smaller games, dude, they're probably better, and they're probably the 40K killer. It's just 6 people play it. So, nobody knows yet,
Well, I mean, this thing is distribution and supply chain too. I mean, this getting into. I mean, you could have the best product in the world, but if nobody knows about it, then it doesn't matter.
You know what?
One of my local stores.
Oh, go for it.
Go ahead, bud. At my local store, like 2/3 of one wall is devoted to War Machine and Hordes. They haven't sold any of that stuff in close to 8 months.
That's somebody overbought. That's what somebody ordered too much, and that's why.
And there used to be
this game was the thing.
There was a night for that. They had the game nights for each of the different games. There was the Pokemon night and blah blah blah.
You got to do that. You got to build. You got to help that community thrive. You got to organize those events where like you run your league for 3 people. And like until that 4th person shows up, and then you run it for 4 people until that 5th person shows up.
Yeah, it's hard, man, for a local game store. You got to dabble in everything. Like Magic is, here's a little insight. If you ever want to open up your own hobby store, you have to have Magic because that's what's going to pay 60% of your bills. Easily.
I disagree because the store that I ran this event at this last weekend has no cards. It is straight hobby, 100%. And it has been in business and okay for upwards of 9 years.
That is a minority. That is an extreme minority.
You don't have to do it, but
call that guy.
Probably
Well,
and find out his business.
If you want to, trust me, I think Troop is right on that one. But okay, so Lamont says he's got 3 kids with another one on the way. You have your hands full, sir. The fact that you're even spending some time with us tonight, I am honored. Thank you for the continued. You send a lot of list ideas to us, which I'm always happy to read.
Yeah.
Man, you have your hands full. Thank you for sharing that with us. Steve Booley is saying he's going to get some Galvor back and uses Demonkin Possessed. That's an awesome idea. Those models are so cool.
I can't even get over how neat they looked, and they're probably the best-looking possessed type Marines that I've ever seen.
They're awesome.
I don't know what their rules are like. In the game itself, I haven't really read over them, but the models are worth getting. If you're
we totally went over those in the last podcast, stat for stat.
That wasn't him. He wasn't there.
Yeah,
that was the TPM clone.
That was late. We record late at night.
Good thing is somebody's paying attention.
Yeah. Arcana Chaos asking to give a quick rundown of the Chaos Army list you're building. What do you take from IA-13? IA-13, I'm taking the Rapier batteries, the Chaos Rapier batteries, with conversion beamers on there. They're called the something conversions or something or whatever. But they have different. It 24 inches or above, they shoot a large blast, strength 10 AP one shot.
Yep.
So it's not ordnance. It's just right. You have to have line of sight and everything. But putting that on a sky shield, so I'm able to basically have a bunch of layers of obnoxiousness.
I love layers.
Yeah.
That's how I'm designing every list right now. And those guns that you're talking about, I think it was last year's Toys for Tots event down in Southern Pines. Man, Abe, good friend of the show, brought those and just started annihilating people. They were like, "Oh, look at that thing. I don't know what it does." And he's like, "All right, my turn. Let's shoot." You're dead.
Well, imagine that with take the Imperial Guard guy, not the Imperial Guard, whatever the Renegade is, out of the Siege of Iraq's book, that opens up a bunch of squads of 3+, 4+, feel no pain zombies.
Oh yeah.
Necrosius, is that the one you're talking about?
No, it's like a Master of the Horde. I can go grab it.
I got you right. It's okay. I know which one you're talking about.
One of the like Doctrines, Rights of War type thing for whoever your command squad guy is, and it's the Ordnance Tyrant that allows you to drop Ordnance blast markers into close combat. So if you have a unit locked up with somebody in close combat, then you obviously have a pretty solid target when people pile in for assault to drop your ordnance on. And if you've got things that have like a great save, like Nurglings or whatever, because it's not chaos things out of that detachment. It's you can target friendly models, so it's anybody that's in your army. So you can have things from an allied detachment in close combat and drop bombs. You have to put the hole directly over the enemy, but it doesn't matter if it clips your guy or not.
Yeah.
That's a really tough tactic.
Yeah, that's clutch, man. You lock somebody in, and now they're mad because, dude, 3 Nurglings is 12 wounds, just for everybody out there that doesn't know that.
Yeah.
So lock something down that has just a couple really hard attacks and bomb them.
Yeah, and those Nurglings get great saves and ruins, that kind of stuff. So, you just basically like, well, you can't get past my picket line of 14 Nurglings. Yep. So somehow we're gonna be in combat, and then the shenanigans start.
We seem to be at an impasse.
Yeah.
They're like 15 points each too, man. So anybody out there that's playing like Chaos and stuff, dude, try to get Nurglings into your list. You will not be mad. Like there's cheap HQs that you can take and then get some Nurglings. Those things tie up really good. And they're good to hide on objectives because they got that low profile. Do it.
That Forge World list gets expensive. It has a couple of the Basilisk batteries in there. And those things are not cheap models.
Yeah.
So I'm not really advocating going out and building this list unless you're just doing it for the love, because it is obnoxious, and it is competitive, don't get me wrong, but it's obnoxious to fight against, and it's obnoxious to put together.
Yeah, we actually, I showed you a picture. There was a guy that brought a Renegades and Heretics from Imperial Armor 13 this last weekend, and it was a pretty neat force to see on the table. I have to say, I really enjoyed what the kind of army diversity that we had. We didn't have a super huge turnout, but there weren't any armies there that looked the same. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's cool, man. Like, get that variety out there. I like that.
Yeah, it's down to crunch time, man. I tell you, Paul, I've been reading the Night Lords Omnibus by Aaron Dembski-Bowden. Just real big fan of his writing. But he is treating our Blood Angels very, very badly. And I'm thinking about writing a letter.
There are certain like measurement sticks, in 40K. It's like if you want to prove that your army is really great at assault in the story, you can beat a Blood Angel. If you want to prove that your character model is awesome, you give him a plasma pistol. I don't know why.
He's got a fist.
The thing is that the thing that makes this Night Lord character so scary is that he stole a sword from the Blood Angels, and it's better than everyone else's.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I got to read up on that.
But I tell you, if he wasn't so good a writer, and if I didn't love his style and everything he brings to the table with his talent so much, I would have dropped the book and written a nasty letter.
I kind of felt that way about like in Betrayer. I didn't really care about, before I read that book, most of the chapters and stuff they focus on in that book.
The Legions?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean didn't care. I shouldn't say didn't care. They just didn't. They didn't like spark any inspiration in me or whatever. But several of those scenes are just nothing short of epic. It makes you really attached to some of the stuff.
Well, and that's the thing.
Hit me with a fluff bomb, man. Because I saw, I don't know what they're called on the internet, where it's a picture and they got words in it. It's supposed to be clever. Meme.
A meme?
A meme, yeah.
Meme.
A meme?
There you go.
Oh, Justin, you're the best.
All right. Well, I saw something that quoted Karn, and it was like poetic, and it was awesome.
Karn, in these books, he's very smart, and he's very observant. He's one of the focus characters in the book where you get to kind of see his perspective on things. And one of the fluff bombs, and I talked about this on the show, and I'm spoiling. I apologize if I'm spoiling it or anybody or whatever. But there's a scene where and I won't spoil the whole scene, but I'll just point out that there's like when Angron is trapped under the earth, and he is literally tunneling his way back to where he thinks salvation is. Like with his bare hands, he's tunneling his way through the earth.
That's so awesome.
Turns out he's going the wrong way.
Yep.
All right, he's tunneling to the center of the earth.
Angron was never the smart one.
And I mean, just blind with rage. And then the remnants of the Psychers within his legion actually go out and touch his mind and tell him he's going the wrong way.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
So it's kind of interesting that the people that will eventually just be murdered and run out of that legion are the ones that save their Primarch. And get him back into a little bit of sanity to get him back in the fight.
Touche, man.
So that's a little bit about what the World Eaters were before they became so wrapped.
The quote that I was referencing was he was talking about Space Wolves, and he was basically like making fun of them. I don't know if you guys. I don't know if you guys are familiar, if that's like an official quote or if it was fan made.
I don't know if I don't know if it's the official quote or not, but there's two sides of this story where it's the World Eaters versus the Space Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
And this is before the fall of Horus.
Okay.
Oh yeah, this is like early on, and this is where you start getting into like I think it's fairly obvious that Leman Russ is the one that delivered the execution on at least one of the forgotten Primarchs.
Yeah. That's been mentioned in a couple places.
Well, they hint at it. They don't. I mean, they never come out.
They don't go out and say it, but they don't go out of the way to not say it.
What I pick up from this is that the Emperor is the one that levied the judgment on one, and then Leman Russ jumped the gun and did it to another.
Ooh,
and then there's a little bit of cover-up. And then Leman Russ starts to fancy himself as the Emperor's executioner, which that is stated. I mean, that's why there's a small company of Space Wolves that go and essentially watch over the Primarchs once all this heresy starts happening.
Yeah.
So,
oh man, I love them.
No, they're great. I mean, there's like a scene where, I mean, anyway, they're really cool.
Read books.
But there's this scene where, again, I'm sorry I'm spoiling this, whatever, but this is just one side of the story. If you're a World Eaters fan, you love this story. If you're a Space Wolves fan, you probably have a slightly different one.
Yeah.
But in this telling of the story, Angron he's doing some stuff that nobody, he needs some censure, essentially is what it comes down to it. And the Space Wolves show up. And they're in this big chapter-on-chapter fight, and they're slugging it out. And the World Eaters take the upper hand on the battlefield, but not before Leman and a bunch of his warriors corner Angron. And they're like, you need to call your guys off or we're going to gun you down. And Angron's like, I don't care. Gun me down. Look around you. Yeah. I'm the only guy that can call these dudes off. If you kill me, your legion ends now.
Yeah, that's legit too. Like, Straight baller, man. Angron, no F's given.
No, that's exactly right. And then they pull away, and they call it a draw.
Here's the thing, though. That's the way Angron sees it. And then Lorgar, he talks to him about it and says, no, what you failed to realize was you were set up like this, and you really lost because of XYZ reasons. And Angron just can't wrap his head around it because he's like, but I beat Lehman Russ. But I beat him. Did you really beat him?
Well, yeah, I mean,
and it makes you think about it. It makes you think about it because it doesn't take away from either of them by putting them in this kind of situation. And that's what I like about the way that Aaron Dembski-Bowden writes, is because he can do that. He can put these two legions that people really, really love, set them at each other's throats. Somebody has to win. Why can't we find a way to make them both win so nobody loses? And everybody still looks close. Everybody still looks close.
Yeah. I know you asked for fluff, and I'm hitting you with it, Troop, so I apologize.
I don't know how to read, man. It's not my fault.
William, guys, 3 Corvus Hammers. Please hit me on the Forge Narrative Facebook or on my personal Facebook. That's the magic number. You're a savior. Thank you so much.
Oh, those poor people that'll be facing Paul's list. You are responsible for all of their field badsies.
You're an enabler.
I hope you can sleep tonight.
Yeah.
William, thank you so much. Yes, Archon is asking, do those things that get bombed still get a cover save even though they're in combat? Yeah, it's just a shooting attacks. They will get a cover save even if they are in combat. Ricky, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. A lot of folks coming in tonight. I apologize if I missed anyone in the chat. Know that I will scroll through this and find you. But on the fluff side, again, that all those stories are awesome. And like in the Unremembered Empire, I got an amazing appreciation for the Dark Angels. I mean, Lionel Johnson, he is a badass in that book.
Watch your mouth,
straight just no seconds, no takesy backsies. He is a badass. All right. The Space Wolves and the Dark Angels have this challenge they're supposed to do every time that the chapters meet each other because of the fight that happened between Lehman Russ and the 2 Primarchs or whatever.
Lionel Johnson,
Yeah, those Space Wolves that are sent to spy on Guilliman have to declare this challenge, and Lionel Johnson is like, "I accept the challenge. Let's get this out of the way." He's like, "Take your best shot." And
this Wolf Lord, this Jarl, he's just like, "You're gonna do it yourself. You're not gonna have one of your warriors do it, really?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm in charge here. What are you gonna do about it?" He's like, "Fine, I accept." And he does this killer axe swing, right? And even Gilliman was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I would have seen that coming. But Lionel Johnson just kind of swats it away and then punches the guy halfway across the... It is so sweet.
And what you just said is true about the Ultramarines Primarch. Rabute, when he's talking, he sounds like a big wuss. I can't get behind it. I can't. But when he's not talking and he's all about the action, he is inspiring. Let me just say that he's
punching heads off in outer space.
Shut up and start punching people. That's like
you would be so much better if you punched more.
Yeah, if you just quit talking and kept punching. Yeah, and then he nuts up to Lion. He nuts up to the Lion, and the Lion is like, "Homie, shut up."
Touch me again, and I will show you the meaning of pain.
Yeah, he said, "You will know why they call me the first." That's what he says. He's like, "You will know why I am the first Legion if you put your hand on me again."
Well, that exact quote is what brought me to the Dark Angels when I first started collecting. Swear to God, true story. That part of the fluff, I was on 1D4chan. Yeah. And I was reading, I was going, yeah, I read once. Don't judge. And I was
it doesn't count if it's on 4chan.
What is going on here? I was like, Dark Angels.
Yeah.
And then Sanguinius shows up, and they're both like, all right, you're the best.
Yeah, cheap Land Raiders. That's what brought me to Blood Angels. Love Land Raiders, man. It's my affliction.
Whatever. Yeah, that book was it was really good, and I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. But it made me appreciate. Again, I got a big appreciation for the Dark Angels in that book. Not that I didn't like them before. I mean, rules-wise, they've always kind of struggled.
Yeah.
But this the actual meat of their rules. I'm sorry, of their fluff really spoke out to me in that.
Yeah, dude, some of the coolest stories, like that. I don't know. We could talk for ages on that. But
James asking is like, do we think we'll see Lehman Russ in Power Armor or Terminator Armor when Forge World does his model?
Artificer.
Yeah.
I think so too. I think he'll have a good invulnerable save. He's going to be a beast. There's no way to not make him a beast.
I'm betting that he's going to have some kind of anti-psych or shout ability or something, just based on what he does in each one of the books where he's confronted with a psyker. He basically does this psychic scream that makes, that gives everybody a brain hemorrhage. It's freaking awesome. It's like this bestial howl that makes the psyker's ears bleed. It's 10 kinds of crazy.
That ties into like the original fluff of how the Rune Priest had the 4+ deny 24 inches, and all that kind of stuff. It was, that's got to be in there. But see, again, there aren't that many psychers. I mean, well, I know we'll see it when we see Prospero and everything else, but
I got so much hope for Lehman and Lion, because those dudes, we were talking the other day on the podcast about like what Primarch can take what Primarch. I think it's going to be like no question come shortly. And then when Sanguinius steps up, man, are you kidding?
Oh, man. My heart.
Kelly K saying, what about the 100 Iron Warriors that remain loyal that got lost in the war? Yeah, that's a very interesting story.
That is a pretty interesting story.
Yeah, there's so much material that they can cover in 30K, and we're going to see it in 31K, 30 spot 9K. I mean, whatever. I don't know what it's going to be called. But I mean, this is exciting times, and we have different ways to play the game. And that's if you're looking for balance, you don't need a tournament system for Horus Heresy. It balances itself.
It does.
And I'm not saying I'm paying the 40K. I'm still like all this stuff you see right here is all for, like I said, all for 40K stuff. I'm just providing some more information out there about some things that I've been considering fun and a different way to move my models around.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
The biggest hurdle I think for people to cross with 30K has less to do with the rules and just more to do with some people just don't like power armor. Some people don't. They want to be Xenos, and nothing wrong with that. But I would really encourage you to open your mind to just the cool kinds of battles and the cool characters that are in this story, because it's not just your standard, I am Marnius Calgar and I am the god of 40K.
Okay. Let me if we get an Orfeo character, I'm going to play Ultramarines.
Was that like Rufio?
Okay, there's this dude, and I've read so many of the books, I apologize, it might even be in Betrayer. There's this guy he's an Ultramarine, and he is slaughtering World Eaters like it's nothing, like it is his job. He's stomping mud holes, and he's going through this ship, just anybody gets in his way gets cut down. Karn jumps him.
This is on the planet. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
He fights Karn for like 6 hours straight.
What?
And Karn can't beat him. Yeah, like it's something along the lines. Angron has to come in and murder this guy.
That's legit.
They basically, it's one of those things like all these World Eaters are like looking around the corner, like not wanting to go into the room because Orfeo is going to kill him, and Angron's like, "God, I guess I got to do everything myself."
I can feel
what is that Raven Guard guy? I'm trying to remember his name.
It's
Yep,
Sherikan.
That's right.
That dude. I wanna rules for that guy. That guy is my favorite non-Primarch character in the series. Hands down, bar none. He kills Lucius 2 times. Lucius the Eternal.
and he doesn't even care.
No, he's the first guy to kill Lucius. Now this dude, they talk about it. He actually bends light around him. He can go invisible and almost like teleport through shadows.
Nice.
Yeah, so he puts a bullet in Fulgrim's head too. He actually tries to assassinate Fulgrim, shoots him right between the eyes.
Fulgrim wore it like one of those service studs.
Yeah, well, it turns out like Fulgrim says anyway. Fulgrim lives, obviously. But it's one of that dude is just so awesome, and he's there, he's everywhere. He kills Lucius twice. Lucius can't even begin like what just happened. I don't
And
know
he's dying, and Shuriken looks at him. He's like, "I don't even care that I killed you. It was just me doing my job."
Oh, wow.
So remember Loken, and Lucius tied it up. It's another one of those kind of benchmarks to say how much of a badass you are in the 40K world or the 30K world. How do you stand up against Lucius? This dude kills him twice. That's how BA he is.
He's not a Blood Angel.
If we hold a draft for who we're picking in the new Blood Angel squad, I mean, no, I would pick a lot of the Blood Angels. Don't worry, I love Alculon and who's the
Ascalon and Amit, and then Raldoron.
Yeah, those guys on the team. Shuriken's on the team. Orfeo's on the team. That's my new command squad for the Blood
Garrow's
Angels.
on the team.
Garrow's he's not a fight. Garrow's strong of will, but he can't even hold a torch to these guys in battle.
Well, he held off Loken for a little while.
Loken's not on the team, and so Loken's not on the Blood. It's like Loken's awesome.
Right. You know what? I'm gonna give that to you and not even argue with it. Garrow is cool, but he did disarm a Custodes once.
No, I'm gonna hang out with Garrow, and I'm gonna hang out with Loken. We're gonna drink. We're gonna be buddies. But when I go to war, I'm taking the guys I just mentioned.
What about that guy that Kurz was ripping open, the Ultramarine? That while his guts were hanging out, he was punching Kurz in the face.
Oh, I don't remember that guy.
Yeah, that was an unremembered empire. Kurz was even like, this guy just won't die. He keeps punching you in the face.
Yeah, I mean,
I respect that.
That's how you're supposed to die in battle.
I do like the basically the chapter master of the Custodes too. I like that guy.
Oh, you're talking about.
So I think it starts with a V.
Oh, is it? No, it's not Ventantus. It's
Valentino.
He might be on the team. He's like second stringer. If somebody beats me to Orfeo, then he can come on the team.
Constantine Valdor. That's the guy.
That's it. Yeah, Valdor.
There's not a lot about the Custodes out there, is there? You
see more as they use them in books. Like they show up in different places, and in one of the limited edition books, there's a whole story about the Custodes, which is pretty good. It's pretty good. I won't spoil it because that is kind of like an Easter eggy type story.
There's some in the First Heretic. There's some in Prospero Burns. There's some in Thousand Suns. There's some in the audio dramas.
I'll tell you where there's not some. And that's 40K.
I hope we see some Thunder Warriors come up in rules too. I'd love to see a squad of those guys.
That would be interesting. I mean, basically, all you need to do is turn your Centurions and take all the guns off.
Yeah, there you go. Kelly Kay saying Black Library, here he comes. Steve Bully saying that Argyle Tal is his favorite.
He's a pimp.
Yeah.
He's a demon pimp.
All good stuff. I apologize for the thing. Bill's saying that AT-43 and Confrontation models were pre-painted. Just sold a bunch on eBay. I don't know, but the Confrontation model is not the one I'm talking about. Maybe it's a different, but it's the werewolves and the goblin folks and that kind of stuff. I don't think that stuff comes pre-painted. I'm
not familiar with any of it, so I couldn't say for sure.
They're beautiful models, and there's probably different versions of them that I'm unaware of.
I got something French that I used for Death Cult Assassins. They were dudes, and they had like a Harlequin mask on and like a cloak, and they were pre-painted.
Justin, I didn't know this about you.
Yeah. They were like $8 on Miniature Market one day for like 10 dudes. I was like, I'm not buying a bunch of Death Cult Assassins. Let me buy these dudes up.
Dean's saying, like, hey, Justin, how about 6 of those Grav Caterpillars and a Dark Angel Land Raider?
In a Land Raider, I don't know, man. I'd have to think about that. Because there's a lot of stuff that could pop a Land Raider still, so I'm still skeptical. I like the drop pod.
That helps. You don't have to babysit if you don't have a slot to get a character that can babysit the destroyers. The Land Raider does a really good job because it's going to soak up several rounds of fire.
Yeah. My only concern with the Land Raider is
1D shot.
Well, or like a lucky melter roll or something.
That's not even a guarantee. Yeah.
The walking aspect is the only thing that scares me because I don't mind dropping them on somebody, getting their load off, and then dying. What I would hate to happen is something happened to their transport, and then they got to try to walk.
Right. Well,
let
me talk tactics for a minute. I'm sorry, I'm switching gears out of the fluff.
Interrupting Irishman.
Right. The Land Raider takes a place of basically like a giant character that you would need to be able to get those shots off. So, and these things have 30-inch range. So when you get blown out of your vehicle, you get to deploy
6 inches out.
So you're basically 30. You're in position. There are not many things that will be able to hide 36 inches away, and the Land Raider's probably not going to be killed on the first round.
Yeah.
Probably not. Now,
flat out round one, flat out.
It could be killed on round one, but then you've still protected your destroyers a little bit.
Yeah.
So something that could have killed a couple of destroyers had to be wasted on killing their transport.
I will say that I've gone from using my Storm Ravens as transports for these units that I want to deliver to using the Land Raider instead, just because, one, I can make sure it's on the table on turn one, and I can flat out, and I can get it where I can deliver the package where I need to. And the flyers, just especially since the strength 10 ended up happening with the explodes when they crash, that just any of the toughness 5 guys that I would put in there, it just where they would have lived before, they're not going to
deliver them. You have to make sure that they get where they need to be. And Land Raiders help with that. I mean, I'm not like a huge fan of Land Raiders. I'm just saying that doing that, what I find myself sometimes is that I run out of character slots in tournaments where I don't have unlimited detachments to play with. So a Land Raider might fill that role. That's all I'm saying.
It could. I think I would probably do 5 and then put that tech dude in there because they're going to need Feel No Pain. So
is there a relic that lets them fire Overwatch at full BS?
I don't remember if it was full or if it was upgraded. I'll have to look it up. I don't have the book in front of me upstairs.
We'll discuss that because that's one of the things I want to. As we start moving into, the end of tournament season while there's a rest. I'm hoping that we can close out. We start talking about lists for the seasonal, the Atlanta tournament, calling that Warzone Atlanta, coming up in November. I'm going to try to hit a couple other tournaments in between now and then, so be kind of evolving the list because I'm certainly not playing the one in Atlanta. But these guys with those Corvus hammers are going to be wrecking face come soon.
There will be the tears of many gamers kept and put into the vials.
Taking that the thing you put on the vehicles, the legacy of glory.
Which one? Which legacy?
Of Cygnus Prime to get the Furious Charge on anything within 6 inches.
Yep.
So put that on a land speeder that gets to reroll its Jinx save and has shrouded. I think I'm gonna get my Furious Charge off with Rending Corvus hammers and strength 10 power claws and strength 9 power fist and that kind of stuff. It's gonna be ugly.
So one quick question from Archaon Chaos: Land Raider or Spartan, Paul? What do you think?
The Spartan is really good. The Spartan is basically the preferred method of insertion for lots of armies.
You don't need the Spartan for the caterpillars, if that's what he's referring to.
But 5 hull points is really difficult to get through.
In 30K, it's almost a must-have. With the flare shields, in 40K, I feel like it can still be pretty good. I actually had 2 of my flyers shot down by those 2 twin-linked las cannons. And granted, that was a lucky shot to get 2 flyers down in one turn, but that really sucked.
Aren't they quad las cannons?
Yeah, so you get 2 dice per las cannon, and then it's twin link. Have a fair chance of hitting. This guy just had the best dice ever. I don't think he even needed to twin link him to get at least 1 hit on each side. Just bam, bam, it was gone.
That's a heartbreaker right there.
Well,
guys, we're basically at the end of the hour. Is there anything you want to cover before we get out of here?
Primarchs are cool, still.
Yeah. Hey, keep hitting us up on Twitter, Facebook. Make sure you subscribe on our YouTube channel if you had to dip out early or whatever, so you can catch this and you can recap it as well.
Sorry about my rants, but I blame Justin. About
you know, I am the whipping boy.
Oh, I'll take any opportunity really to talk about some of this stuff. I mean, it makes you. I mean, again, it makes you want to build armies. It's what inspires us to play this game and spend as much time as we do on the models.
Oh yeah.
That's why I want like a squad from each legion. I know it's insane, and I'd never get to use all of it, but I want to have it.
Hobbyist, yeah.
If anybody has their Dream 5 characters that they would put in a combat unit for the Heresy, or if you can actually build a squad like I was talking about, please let us know who that would be. Although
I would love to see that.
I've picked the 5 best already. So.
Hey, keep your eye up on the Facebook too, man. We got a lot of cool stuff that's about to hit. So definitely some interesting things that you're about to see. And Dean, I'm gonna hit you with a list with your idea. I'm gonna crunch some numbers and some high scores. I think Paul left. All right, guys.
You guys have a good night. Great talking to you. Great seeing all of you. And we'll see you again next week.